Okay, welcome. Here's a really quick question for you. What do you want to do when you're older? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Aaron. This is the Bible Applied, where we choose a bit of the Bible and just go through it and see how it affects our lives today. And today, we're looking at Titus chapter 2, verses 1 to 2. And this is how to find people who will do you some good. Simple. What do you want to do when you're older? Now, my children are very excited about being adults because then they can watch TV for as long as they want. They can eat as many cookies as they wish. They can have as much ice cream in their faces. They can do whatever they want. Now, they're very excited. So when I say to them, what do you want to do when you're older? They say, eat! What do you want to do when you're older? Okay, let's dive into this together. Titus chapter 2 says this: "You, however, must teach what is appropriate to sound doctrine. Teach the older men to be temperate, worthy of respect, self-controlled, and sound in faith, in love, and in endurance." So this is Paul speaking to Titus now. He's saying, Titus, this is what you need to do. So how's he going to do it? Number one, Titus needs to teach what is appropriate to sound doctrine. And what does that mean? If I asked you what sound doctrine was, what would you say? If you wanted to be a car mechanic, and you needed someone to teach you sound car mechanics, what would you do? You'd need to be trained by someone who also knew sound car mechanics. Sound just means right or accurate. So when he's talking about sound doctrine, it's right or accurate doctrine. But the thing is, you wouldn't just need the information, would you? You'd need to see it happen as well. So there's a big difference between just telling someone and actually showing them what it means. See, this is the same with sound or accurate doctrine. So Titus said to Paul, wrong way around. Paul said to Titus that you need to be teaching sound doctrine, but not only teaching it, you need to be teaching the death and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. You need to be teaching that people can believe in him and have a great and loving relationship with God. But not only teaching it, you need to be showing it by your life as well. You need to be showing that it actually makes a difference. So secondly, he needed to teach the older men to live sound doctrine. What should Christians be aiming for? Well, they need to be temperate. That means they shouldn't have a short fuse. They should be patient. Are you patient, Steve? They needed to be worthy of respect. They needed to have honor. They needed to be self-controlled. Now, presumably, in a place like Crete, that meant not running after other women or booze. They needed to be accurate in love, in faith, and in endurance. And that's a bit of a weird one to finish on, right? Why did he say endurance? Why should you teach older men to endure? Did you see that list? Everything on that list is not just a one-time thing. See, they are the outcome of decisions that need to be made day after day. I mean, hour after hour sometimes. They needed endurance to be making these decisions all the time. They needed to be making decisions so that when no one else was looking, it was only God who saw their faith, their love, their endurance. I have got a friend of mine who is single. Now, she would say she doesn't enjoy being single, but that's what God has called her to be at the moment. She's waiting for a Christian guy to come along. Now, she's pretty, she's fun to be around. It's great fun to be around. She could walk out of the church building and down the high street in where we live, and she would have men falling at her feet. But she's choosing not to. She's pursuing a godly man who's going to help her in her faith. But she has to make that decision every day, day after day, morning after morning, evening after evening, night after night. So how does she do that? She does that even when it's only God that sees. That is the definition of endurance. That's what she's doing. Her faith is shown even when no one is looking. She's saying, God, I'm waiting for that guy. Now, the older men were to be making decisions that no one else saw to follow Jesus. Now, how did the older men know how to do this? Well, they learned it from Titus. So they had a real life example to learn from, and they were supposed to be real life examples. They learned it from Titus, who learned it from Paul, who learned it from the apostles, who learned it from Jesus, who was God. So it was a pretty safe bet. That is why it is essential for us to find people in our churches who endure, who make those daily decisions, who are temperate, who are worthy of respect. Which brings us about to our
application.
Sorry. Who is that in your church life? Who is in your church family who is like that? Are there any older men or older women that you can turn to who are self-controlled, temperate, worthy of respect? I wonder whether you could get in contact with them today. I wonder whether you could send them a message and just say, hey, I was thinking about you. I hope you're doing okay, or praying for you, or something like that. What is your application from this passage? It's invest in those relationships. Let's keep going. Right, I think we're done. Steve's challenge. Okay, time for another Steve's challenge. Let's see what he's got for me today. Drink this energy drink and survive. And survive? How bad is it?
Hi everyone, Aaron here. I work at a school where a lot of teenagers come in having had an energy drink, and because I hadn't had one before, we thought it would be fun to use one as an endurance test, and it was truly disgusting. But given the huge health concerns with regular consumption, and that I'm not even sure I'm allowed to show what I drank, we've decided not to make this a challenge. However, it did result in this.
Oh man, that is horrific.
So, if you think that you can burp better than that, then upload your burp video to the Facebook group. It's not the longest or the loudest, but the best burp video is going to win. I look forward to having a laugh and seeing all the entries. I'll see you then.